Can you see the block diagram now?
Yes,
Samir?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So these types of block diagrams you must have seen in control systems, and you're going to use this. You are going to use similar block diagrams whenever you opt for closed loop speed control. Even when you are using open loop speed control, you still have a feedback loop for protection. Okay? There will always be a feedback loop for protection in case of machine drives. But this one is when you want to go for closed loop speed control. Okay? So in control systems, we used to write here the reference input. Here in this case, the reference input is the reference speed. You've already seen how the reference speed is given. Okay? If you are using a microcontroller, the reference speed can be directly given through a keyboard, or it can be given through a analog to digital converter, ADC. Okay. Now from here you are taking the actual speed from the motor shaft. You are taking the actual speed using a speed sensor, and that actual speed is fed back here to be compared with the reference speed. And this difference, reference speed minus actual speed, gives you the speed error. Now this speed error is processed using a speed controller. Okay. You have a number of options which you can use as a speed controller. Give me some options. Anyone? What are the options available?
So what you are asking, sir?
Speed controller.
Means speed difference is there then? What?
This is the speed. This is the speed error. The speed error has to be processed using a controller. Do you know any such controllers?
VFD
So
variable frequency drive.
differential control.
Means,
Differential control.
Yes, sir.
controlling.
No. Okay. The most commonly used controller is the PI controller. I think you have heard of the PI controller. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have PID controller also. You have a PID controller also, but that PID controller is very rarely used. The most commonly used controller is the PI controller. Do you know of any other controllers? Do you know any other controllers?
PID controller, lead lag controller.
Lead lag controller, yes. Lead lag controller. I think PI will correspond to lead or lag, not both lead lag. Lead lag corresponds to PID.
PID controller.
Any other controllers that you are aware of?
Sir, neural network controller.
Yes, you can also go for artificial intelligence controllers. You can have a fuzzy logic controller, or you can have a ANN controller and all those things. Genetic algorithm controllers, all those are possible. Apart from that, there are some new controllers also, such as a resonant controller has come up. Okay? You'll probably study all those things in control theory, linear control theory. I think you have two subjects in control systems, one in this semester and the other in the next semester. So you might probably study some new controllers also. Okay? Is this clear? So the speed controller, what does this do? It converts the speed error into a
into useful means command, whatever command is means speed difference is positive or negative, whatever speed error.
That useful command in this case is going to be the reference current. Okay? The speed controller will convert the speed error into the reference current. But your current, reference current, has to have some maximum limits and a maximum and minimum limits. That is why you need a current limiter. Okay? So the purpose of this current limiter is simply to limit the maximum value of the reference current. Basically, it is a saturation block. Okay. So here you are getting the reference current from your reference speed compared with the actual speed. The speed error is processed and limited to give the reference current. Now, once again, this reference current is compared with the actual current. And the actual current is taken from the motor. The actual speed was taken from the motor shaft. Actual current is taken from the motor. Here, what you're getting will be called the current error. Again, you will use a PI controller to process this current error. And this current controller will now convert this current error into firing angles for this converter. Okay? So the current controller will derive the value of the firing angles based on the current error, and this converter will now be triggered depending on those values of the firing angles. This converter is connected to the motor, and the motor will drive the load. Is this clear? This block diagram is clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have the motor, you have the load, you have the converter. Okay? Apart from this, in practice, this entire part is inside the microcontroller. Are you getting me? The speed controller, current limiter, current controller, all these three things are handled by the microprocessor. Okay? And to the microprocessor, you have to give two inputs. One input is the reference speed, one input is the actual speed, and one input is the actual current. The three inputs you have to give. Okay? Yes or no? Any questions here?
Yes, sir.
Any questions on this? Okay. If there are no questions, Jairam is unable to join. We will see what is the problem later on. Okay. So you can get this type of block diagrams in machine drives. Not everywhere the same block diagram will be used. The block diagram can be different. Okay? But something like this will always be there whenever you are going for closed loop speed control or closed loop torque control. Okay. Closed loop torque control, you have an advantage that simply on the basis of current, you can derive the value of torque, and hence you only need current sensing, you don't need speed sensing. Okay, so how do you sense the speed of the motor? You have to give feedback. You have to provide feedback of the actual speed to the microcontroller. And for that, you need to sense the speed and convert that speed into a voltage. How do you do that? Yes.
So optical sensor can be used to determine the speed.
Optical sensors can be used to determine the speed. Apart from that,
उसको क्या बोलते हैं आपका लोकेशन मीटर जो होता है आरपीएम मीटर
Just like tachometer, we can determine the speed.
yes sir, yes sir.
Electrical signals.
Tachometer with the help, but non-touching type tachometer we can use, or
yes, so we can use a tachometer, or more specifically, we use a tacho generator. And the tachometer only gives us the speed. Tacho generator, you can take the voltage, okay? And that voltage can be fed back to the microcontroller using an analog to digital controller. Okay? Tachometers or tacho generators can provide up to 10 volt per 1000 RPM with accuracy up to plus minus 0.1%. If you want higher speed accuracy, then tacho generator is not sufficient and you have to go for digital tachometers, like what optical. To give the answer? And somebody give the answer. What did you say? Optical?
Optical sensors, sir.
Optical sensors or shaft encoders. Shaft encoder is an optical sensor only. You must have studied in instrumentation or measurements, where you have a wheel. Correct? You have a wheel that is mounted on the shaft, and there are holes on the wheel. And one side you can have a transmitter, the other side you can have a receiver. And whenever the hole comes between the transmitter and receiver, you will get a pulse. So the frequency of the pulses will depend on the speed. Higher the speed, higher will be the frequency of the pulses. So such types of things can be used to measure the speed. If you have a DC drive, you can even sense the speed without using any tachometer. How can you do that? Anyone? DC motor.
Measuring the current.
Measuring the current. How will current give you the speed?
Speed is T5 into directly proportional to
Sir,
flux.
current is directly proportional to torque.
Current is directly proportional to torque. If you don't want torque, you want speed. Abhishek Madhi, you speak.
Sir, generated EMF by K5.
Generated EMF divided by the flux. Correct? Yes. And if the flux is constant, the speed is directly proportional to the back EMF. And DC motor, not generated EMF, but the back EMF. And the back EMF can be approximated or found by using EB is equal to V minus IARA. If you know the applied voltage, you know the value of armature resistance, and if you can find the value of armature current, you can find the value of back EMF, and hence you can determine the speed of the motor. Okay? So in DC drives, if you are measuring the current, you can also measure the approximate value of speed up to an accuracy of plus minus 2%. Okay, so that is an inexpensive method of finding the speed in case of DC motor drives. So what about current sensing? How do you sense the current?
Ammeters,
Ammeter, sir.
Ammeters
Or we can use
tongue
multimeters
tester,
for multiple sensing.
ammeters, multimeters, tongue testers.
tongue testers are used.
All three answers are wrong.
Current sense one.
How do you connected an ammeter? Okay, that ammeter is showing you the value of current. How does the microcontroller know the value of that current? And the ammeter cannot provide feedback to the microcontroller. What is the value of current? It can only read the current and show you. The ammeter is not used for current sensing. Neither is a multimeter. Tongue tester also will show you the value of current if it could not give feedback. So, how do you measure the value of current? Or how do you sense the current and give a feedback to the microcontroller? Yes, anyone? I'm taking one more photo and
Sir, what?
Sir,
yes. Yes.
sir, first convert the current into voltage form.
How to convert the current into voltage?
using current to voltage converter.
I never heard of such a converter. Current to voltage converter.
Galvanometer.
Galvanometer is for measuring resistance. Once again, it will only measure the resistance and show you.
So we need an ADC controller to feed the current to microcontroller.
Yes, you need an ADC controller to feed the current to the microcontroller, but who will give the current to the ADC controller? That is the question. Will an emitter give the current to the ADC controller?
So current transformer can be used.
Yes, a current transformer can be used, especially in case of AC circuits. In case of DC circuits, an easier method of measuring the current is to use a, yes, you have studied it, probably in first year, Hall effect sensor. Have you studied Hall effect sensors? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, in physics, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So for DC currents, you go for Hall effect sensors. And for AC currents, I've shared on WhatsApp. I'm presenting the screen to show you here. Okay, can you see? Yes? Sumit?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in case of AC currents, what are we doing? In case of AC currents, suppose this is a three-phase line, you have connected three current transformers. Okay? And the output of these three current transformers, we need to generate one signal. The output of these three current transformers is given as the input of a AC to DC converter. And the output of this AC to DC converter is connected across a resistive load. So the voltage across the resistance, not load, the voltage across the resistance will be directly proportional to the current flowing through the CTs. Okay, of course, assuming that this is a balanced system. Okay? Otherwise, it is difficult to measure the individual phase currents. So the voltage across the resistance is directly proportional to the current flowing through the lines. And this voltage will then be given to the analog to digital controller, analog to digital converter. Okay? And so the current is converted into a digital quantity and given to the microprocessor. Okay, is this clear? Any questions here? Okay. This is only one of the methods. Only one of the methods. So what if the system is single phase? What to do then? This is for a three-phase system. What do you do if the system is single phase AC?
So single phase rectifier.
CT. Single phase CT or the will
Single
use,
phase CT you will use, then
CT or the will give the current to the other.
you can use a single phase
Followed by
rectifier.
bridge rectifier.
You can use a single phase rectifier. Okay? Or you can even go without a rectifier, I think. But the voltage will be AC then. So you need a single phase rectifier. Okay. So that you can do in case of single phase AC. Okay. Have you heard about stability? Stability of an electric drive. Yes or no? Steady state stability
So
of a drive.
motor can be rotated up to the rated speed. If it is rotated at more than rated speed, then it will not be stable, or it will burn, or it will damage.
No, Priya, that is the wrong answer. That is not stability.
The
Hmm?
motor should be operated in such a region that if the speed increases, then the torque will reduce the speed and vice versa.
If the speed
Like
increases, then torque must
Decrease.
reduce the speed and
Decrease
Torque.
if the load torque, if load torque is more than the
speed
speed, then
decreases.
the speed decreases.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
if load torque is more than the
Means torque is increasing
if
continuously, then it is not the
I think
stable region. It is unstable region.
that is wrong. What Sumit said was correct. What did Sumit say? He said that if the speed increases, then load torque must become greater than the motor torque so that the speed decreases again. Is this what you said, Sumit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yes. Or if the speed decreases, then the
Stable.
load torque should become less than the motor torque so that the speed increases again. है
It is unstable region. It is in the
What is
unstable
unstable?
region.
That is stable. I am talking about stability here. Broadly, how do you define stability? How do you define stability? Stability of an electric drive. Steady state stability.
So
So
return to
if
its
any
actual
disturbance,
Or
motion
or
after
or forget
applying
about drive.
any disturbances.
Uh, any system. The stability is if you are operating at an equilibrium point and a disturbance occurs and operation moves away from the equilibrium point, then if operation comes back to the equilibrium point, the system is stable. And if the operation continues to move away from the equilibrium point, then the system is unstable. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
Hmm? If your system
Yes, sir.
is operating at an equilibrium point and a disturbance occurs and your operating point continues to shift away from the equilibrium point, then the system is stable. And if your operating point goes back to the equilibrium point after the disturbance, then the system is stable. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, in the same system, and I said about system here, but in the same system, you can have more than one equilibrium point, where some points may be stable and some points may be unstable. Correct? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, systems are not stable, equilibrium points are stable. An equilibrium point will be stable if after a disturbance operation comes back to that equilibrium point. Otherwise, that equilibrium point is unstable. And
Yes.
very broadly speaking, in case of machine drives, if a disturbance occurs and speed increases, then the load torque should be greater than the motor torque, so that speed decreases and comes back to the equilibrium point. Or if the speed decreases, then load torque should be less than the motor torque, so that speed again increases and comes back to the equilibrium point. Then that equilibrium point is stable, otherwise it is unstable. Okay, clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this was qualitative. This was qualitative. Okay, I'm sending one more photo. Okay. This is how we'll have to study this semester, most probably. Okay, I'm taking the screen once again. You rotate this. I have to take it again. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are seeing two diagrams there. You know, under the heading steady state stability, you can see two diagrams. In both the diagrams, on the x-axis you have torque, and on the y-axis you have speed. So basically, these are the torque speed characteristics of the motor as well as the load. You cannot determine the stability using only motor characteristics or using only load characteristics. Stability will depend on their combination. Okay? Just a minute.
So,
As I was saying, to determine the stability, you need both the motor speed torque characteristic as well as the load speed torque characteristic. In the first diagram, this one is the motor speed torque characteristic, and this one is the load speed torque characteristic. This is the motor one, this is the load one. And the point at which these two speed torque characteristics meet, that point is called as an equilibrium point. So in this case, the equilibrium point is at capital A. Now, if the speed increases,
speed increase, torque increases.
I'll download. Priya Malhotra, you are thinking, whatever you are thinking, you should do turning off your.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, can you see this diagram clearly? Sumit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the equilibrium point capital A. Now suppose the speed increases, where will the operating point? And initially the motor is operating at the equilibrium point capital A. Suppose the speed increases, where will the point move? I am giving you two options. 1, 2. Where will the point move? In the direction of 1 or in the direction of 2?
Sir, in the direction of 1, speed if increases. So left hand side.
Yes, in the direction of 1. The operating point will always move along the motor speed torque characteristic. Okay. So,
Sir,
if the speed increases,
two direction two.
no, it will not move. Motor is no. Operating point will move along the motor speed torque characteristic, not along the load speed torque characteristic. Okay? So it will move in this direction. The speed increases, the motor will, this will be the direction. Motor speed will increase. Okay? Now at this point, as we can see, what happens? The speed has increased. This is the point. Now at this point,
So load torque higher than motor torque.
load torque is higher than the motor torque, so the speed will again decrease, and
It will come to
It will reach
its
the
original
equilibrium
point.
point again.
Yeah, it will come to its original value.
will come to it frequently. The same thing happens when the speed decreases. Okay, when the speed decreases, Okay, so you analyze these and you will see that operating point A is stable and operating point B is unstable. This is what we had discussed, but we don't want a qualitative analysis, we want a mathematical formula. And that mathematical formula is that an operating point will be stable if at that operating point dTL by d omega n is greater than dt by d omega n. Or change of load torque with respect to speed, rate of change of load torque with respect to speed is greater than rate of change of motor torque with respect to speed. So if this formula comes, we derive it in class later on. If not, you have to remember that an operating point will be stable if the rate of change of load with respect to speed is greater than rate of change of motor torque with respect to speed.
Yes, sir. For stability.
For stability. Okay, so I'm stopping here. I'm stopping the recording.
Sir,
And as I
actually,
told you before,
sir, Kanpur IIT students are disturbing me. Means